attending this Cabinet meeting today on this very wet and gloomy day. But thank you, and welcome to those of you who are joining from home. In the normal way, we'll begin our Cabinet meeting by asking for any apologies for absence. Don't think we have any. The minutes of the last meeting, which was on the 14th of October, may I sign these as true and correct record at the end of the meeting? Agreed. Okay, that's unanimous, thank you. Disclosure of members' interest, I will assume that you have dealt with that as appropriate and if necessary. So that takes us to our first paper today, which is the market testing arrangements for the sale of renewable electricity from the integrated waste management contract, electricity from waste, for next year. So I'm going to ask John Riddle, who leads for us on environment matters, to tell us briefly about this and where we are with this important matter.
Thank you, Leader. Yes, this is a more or less an annual event, this, in that Sewers, who are our PFI contract delivery partner, and what we're asking here is for authority from Cabinet for them to go to auction actually tomorrow, which is the next online auction, and if that wasn't successful, to then go to the one in January, subject to the fact that we have a target price or a reserve price that we have agreed, and when it goes to auction, if we don't actually get to that target price, then the recommendation is allowing authority to be delegated for us to negotiate with the highest bidder, etc. So really, it's a very simple report. This is something that does give us a reasonable amount of money, and it goes obviously to offset costs of running our services. So the recommendations are there on the second page. I don't know whether you need me to read them out or just take them as read.
No, are you going to formally propose that?
I propose the recommendations.
Okay. Seconded by Councillor Wearmouth. Before we take a vote on this, I think, as you say, this is a very important part of the running of our recycling service. It not only brings in a decent income from the sale of electricity, it also saves a significant amount of CO2 emissions, which is very desirable and a good way to create the power that we need to run the country. So I think it's the right thing that we do. We go out to tender, we go out to auction, and that way we ensure we get the most competitive price. So I think that all makes sense to everyone, does it? Yeah. So are you all in favour of the proposals, recommendations? Yep. Good. Thank you. Item 5. Now, this is a very exciting paper. This talks about how we as a council are going to move forward with our recycling, how we're going to make it an improvement on our recycling rate, which we all want to see, but above all, it'll actually make things simpler for people. I'm going to ask John Riddle to tell us a little bit about this one.
Thank you again, Leader. Simpler recycling, yes, it will be simpler, I'm sure, for the public, but for me it's been quite a complicated process to get this far. The previous government started this initiative, and under the requirement from April 26, which was enacted through the Environment Act, was to collect the following materials. That was plastic pots, tubs and trays, food and drinks cartons, Tetra packs, glass bottles and jars, clean aluminium foil, trays, tubes, etc. With also a weekly collection of food waste and flexible plastic films. So, you know, DEFRA are the people that are behind this, and the preference was that fibres, which is your paper and card, should be collected separately and not commingled and contaminated with any other products. Really, the report considers options which have been developed by officers for the different ways that we might have initiated this. But really, the one that's in here is my preferred option, and I hope that you will agree that. But from October 26, that would be the earliest in which it would be possible to start a phased implementation of the enhanced curbside recycling. This service would collect your paper, cardboard in one separate bin, which would be a new bin, a 240-litre bin. It would be a black bin with a burgundy lid. And the big difference here is that the other recycled materials, which would include your glass bottles, which haven't been able to be put in a bin before, would then go into your other recycling bin, along with all these other new materials like your Tetra Paks, etc., which, you know, we've had people have lobbied for a long time that they want to get these sort of things put into recycling. If we get all of this done, it'll certainly lift our recycling rates by about 5% minimum. And, you know, this option 3A is actually the most simple and cheapest option for us, in that your recycling bin, you will have one extra bin. Hopefully you'll be offered an extra bin. Hopefully you've got room for it. If you haven't, we will talk to residents and, you know, perhaps offer a smaller bin or some other means of collection. The bins, as far as the consumer is concerned, your recycling bins will be on a rotation, in that at present you get your general waste bin collected 1 week, and then you get your recycling bin the next week. And then you know, so what's going to happen is your recycling bin, you're going to get one recycling bin one fortnight and the other one, the paper one, the following fortnight. So it will be quite simple for the consumer. Government introduced this extended producer responsibility because this isn't going to be cheap for us to implement. It's going to cost us about £21 million to do it. We expect that the running costs will be covered by what's called extended producer responsibility levy, which we will get back to this county. We have been notified that we are going to get 5.7 million in 26-27, but future years will be determined depending on how much money they get in and how well we do our job, basically. So, you know, let's not beat about the bush here. This extended producer responsibility, that will be an additional cost. That will be something that you are paying for as a consumer, but that goes back into recycling. I think the other major thing here is that it's going to involve Suez is our partner here, and the Sleekburn plant is going to require some very significant alterations and improvements and modifications with different machinery. This is going to take time. We're in negotiation with them because they are a PFI contractor. The earliest I think that the work could be completed on that site is going to be January 28. So we are hoping to implement this dry recycling October next year. But from that period until January, it's going to cost us about £150,000 per month to divert the waste until that plant is fit for purpose. So it's quite complicated from this side, but hopefully from the public it should be fairly easy and seamless. So, you know, we know that a small proportion of households might not be able to accommodate another bin, even a small bin, and we'll consider looking at other solutions, even communal bins, etc. I think that's probably the gist of most of this report, Leader. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to take them.
Good, excellent, thank you very much. There are some recommendations which we'll come to in a second. As you say, this is a very exciting new venture for this council, and the administration has been very keen indeed to see how we might kill two birds with one stone, if you like, to improve our recycling rate, which isn't bad compared to many other councils, but to improve on that, but also to make life simpler for our residents. So, for example, instead of having to travel or walk or drive to a bottle recycling bin, we can just put it in our bins now. So we don't have to find a bottle bank, and that's going to be a significant saving on time and effort. And it will mean that all of those Amazon parcels that we get, which we're not really sure about, some of us at the moment, what to do with all that cardboard, we'll be able to recycle those as well. The start date is hopefully going to be in around a year, and in that time we will keep all our residents fully informed once all the plan of action is created. It's a very big job. It's going to mean a lot of new vehicles. It's going to mean new staff. And it is absolutely the right thing to be doing. So I'm very excited about this, and I hope very much that residents will be very glad of the service when we introduce it, particularly with a new bin, with, as you say, a dark red lid, and that will make the whole system really clear. And we will make sure that we communicate every step as we go along the way till we roll this out. So I think we're all very, very pleased about the administration's desire to see improvement in recycling rates. Yes, John.
Yes, sorry, there is one thing I did omit to mention, and that was the fact that, if you recall, in June 25, Cabinet agreed the rollout of the food waste recycling service to approximately 90,000 households, and that is basically across southeast and central areas of Northumberland. That's starting in April 26. Yes. So, and you know, we will roll that out as and when funds allow.
Yes, indeed. So we carry out a very, very good and helpful pilot, which showed that there was a demand and a wish to have food recycling. So in some parts of the county, as you say, we're going to roll that out. We don't have the money that we've asked for yet from government to be able to cover the whole county, but we will continue to do that. But in the meantime, we're focusing here on this paper, which is around curbside recycling collections under simpler recycling. So would you like to formally propose the recommendations?
I would like to propose the recommendations.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Stewart. Any questions or queries about this really good new move for us? No, I think we're all well briefed up on it, so that's really good. Thank you for that. So are you all in favour of those recommendations, if you could show? And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. That takes us on to agenda item 6, which is a summary of new capital proposals considered by the Capital Strategy Group. The first one is an interesting one. We're not sure, or I'm not sure exactly what acquisition of mine and mineral rights under the former middle school site means, but you're going to find out now from Nick Oliver.
Thank you, Leader. So we've got a very ambitious plan to develop the former and for middle school site in Hexham, and for people not from the area. Obviously, we built a brand new super school there a few years ago, which left the old, and the middle school has now moved on to the site of that super school in the west end of Hexham. So that leaves the old middle school site available for development. So officers have been working really hard to come up with a very ambitious plan for the development of the site, and that includes more housing. It includes a higher than average level of affordable housing, which is something that people in Hexham really want and really need. So I think it'll be a fantastic development. But to get that whole project away, we need to tidy up the issue around mineral rights. So the mineral rights are owned by private sector organisations, and we basically need to acquire them. So when the site is sold to a developer, they can have a sort of clean purchase, if you like. And there's been a sort of market appraisal and a price for that of £300,000 has been agreed. So that's what we're proposing today to enable the whole project to sort of progress. The money will come from the Property Stewardship Fund, and it's something that we basically just have to do to get on with this fantastic new development. Yeah,
that's really helpful and a very good description of that. It is absolutely true to say that we could have received a large cheque from a developer who would then build the kind of houses that they want to build. We've declined that. We've decided, as you quite rightly say, to make this a very exciting, inclusive and very special development on the old middle school site. And to that end, We are working very closely with a number of different interested parties. But as you say, it is absolutely right that we sort out the mineral rights, and well done for you for doing that. Thank you.
It's also, we should point out that we will attempt to recoup the 300,000 when the site is sold from the developer. So.
Indeed. Okay, so the next one is the Borderlands Inclusive Growth Deal, the PLACE programme, and I will take this as the one we've just heard at the end with the others. This is very exciting that we are going to see money coming from Borderlands into the exciting prospect of the Bailiff Gate Theatre, Bailiff Gate Museum moving into the Northumberland Hall in Alnwick. We have offered money as a county council, and Borderlands funding will help this even more. It is a very bold and ambitious move, and it wouldn't have happened had it not been for Jean Humphreys and members of her team to actually manage to get a fantastic award from the Heritage Lottery Fund, along with money from Borderlands, along with money from ourselves. Together we will make this work in Northumberland Hall, and I'm looking forward to it very much. This is basically just approving the amendment to the capital programme to allocate this 1.7 million. So a very worthwhile and very excellent proposal, which I'm very happy to put forward at the end. Any questions on that one? Okay. The next one is Tynedale House structural works. Nick Oliver.
Yeah, so this is Tynedale House in Blythe, not Tynedale House in Hexham, as I originally thought. And this is it's a really important learning disability residential facility. It has some structural problems, and there are cracks appearing on the internal walls. So this is a solution to use a sort of polymer resin to basically structurally secure the future of this building. It's going to cost £105,000, and that funding will come from the existing funds within the property stewardship programme. So it's essential maintenance. It needs to go ahead, and so therefore that's our proposal.
That's excellent. Thank you very much for that description. Then finally, the Fire and Rescue Service Essential Maintenance Programme, which covers essentially, I think, Councillor Stewart, being ahead of the game in terms of health and safety requirements.
Yes, Leader, you're absolutely right in there. We're extremely proud of the Fire and Rescue Service. They're well equipped, well trained and highly motivated. We've got 16 sites within the county. Many of those are very remote. And the fire teams up there, fire and rescue teams, provide a unique service working within their communities and are highly respected there. All these sites are safe. So I don't want anybody thinking we've left any areas there unsafe at all. It's right that we do review the subject area on a regular basis, and we will respond to changes. They are more than just a fire service these days. They carry out some tasks aware of the wildfires. We lead nationally in wildfires, advice internationally at this time. They've also got flooding, so they're dealing with flooding issues there. And we're acutely concerned, also aware about the risks of cancer within firefighters. It's high proportion, and the Cabinet visited the facilities at Pegswood recently and saw how much work has been done there on decontamination. So we care for our staff, we care for their families, we don't take contaminated clothing back there at all, and we care for the members of the public who are using these. So I thank the officers who have drawn up a very detailed report here. It does go through in details, and I'll just reassure you that everyone's been double-checked, and we are, as you identified there, Leader, we're looking at the essential health and safety matters there. So thank you for this, and the proposal is we agree to the funding which comes from the existing fire station upgrade programme.
Thank you very much indeed. And I do know that you've been through this with a tooth comb, and along with the fire chief, so that's fine. Any questions or query on this one? So if not, I'm going to go back to the beginning and just summarise the recommendations. On the first one, around the mines and mineral rights, this is 300,000 to acquire the rights, which will be paid back. On the Borderlands one, this is around the Bailiff Gate Museum, but it also actually covers, because we're the, what are called the accountable body, ensuring that we make an amendment to cover the Penrith Wayfinding and Interpretation Project, because we are the, as I say, the accountable body. So we actually hold the money for this, and so we're giving that, allocating that to the Borderlands Place Plan project there. The Tynedale House Structural Works is approving £105,000 for remedial work. And the Fire and Rescue Estate Essential Maintenance covers essentially, as I say, being ahead of the game as far as making sure that health and safety, any potential health and safety requirements that might be made in the future are made now. So that money has been allocated there, 0.959 million, just under £1 million. And we have the comfort of knowing that the Cabinet member and also the Fire Chief the Fire Chief has been through that and are satisfied that that all relates to really good and important proactive work. So there we are. There are four very interesting schemes. Are you all in favour of them? Proposed and seconded, and all in favour. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, so that takes us to the end of the agenda, except that today we have an urgent item. And I want to just introduce this urgent item, paper for which you have in front of you. And the item is headed, the use of Hexham former fire station site. Now, as part of our investment into our services across the council and to modernise our workplaces, we decided some time ago to build a brand new fit-for-purpose depot for our local services team in Hexham. We also allocated money for the demolition of the old site within this year. The building is for the expansion of our work in the west of the county, and so the site of the former fire station was chosen as that one which fitted the bill best. Now, this met with local concerns, so I asked that the project was paused for 3 months to allow full and exhaustive discussions with the Gormley Foundation and other local residents. Since then, that very wide-ranging exercise has taken place to look at other possible sites, both for the new council facility and for a possible home for some of the Gormley Foundation's work. And it's actually called the Foundation. I'm still not really clear why, but when I refer to the foundation, I mean, of course, the Gormley Foundation. Additionally, we remained and still remain very keen to see if we might find an alternative site that could be offered to become a potential, subject to planning, a new and exciting culture centre in the town. This administration is very keen to invest money where a partnership produces a scheme that will benefit not just Hexham itself, but also the county as a whole. Now, I spoke to Anthony some weeks ago, who advised me on a telephone call that if the former fire station was not available to him, he would nevertheless wish his other premises in Hexham to remain. Officers were also asked to consider the financial aspects to this, and they have concluded and advised me that the only option for us in order to meet our value for money test is to continue with our original plans. We simply can't justify the extra £1.5 million capital cost of building in a new location, plus a potential £250,000 annual additional cost of a different site, even if planning were to be given, and there may be some uncertainty about that. We have had to now complete our work, which has seen very significant officer time spent looking at a very wide range of options. So on Friday, I asked for a draft report to come today, assuming Cabinet at our pre-meeting at 8:30 this morning were in favour of taking this paper forward. And this is met with unanimous support. I have therefore written to Anthony this morning. I've copied that letter to local members and others seeking a meeting with him soon to look at what we think is a very exciting alternative site for him in the town. This is in council ownership. It's closer to the town centre with car parking, good accessibility, and with which, subject to planning, we will be glad to work in partnership to provide the culture centre we are extremely keen to see in Hexham and the county as a whole. So I take you, therefore, to the recommendations on the paper that you have before you, and I formally propose those recommendations. Are they seconded? Seconded by Councillor Wearmouth. Are there any questions or queries or thoughts about this paper? Can I take Councillor Oliver first, if you'd like to touch on perhaps the financial side?
If I could just make a few comments. I mean, first of all, I think when this proposal originally came forward from the Foundation, they were looking for storage space, and Sir Anthony Gormley has some existing storage space on an industrial estate in Hexham and a foundry site in Hexham. So it's great that he's sort of firmly rooted there. It's also great that the project has evolved from storage to storage plus the potential of some sort of public display of art as well. And obviously, if that's something that we can achieve in Hexham, and with Hexham's ambitions to become a sort of arts town, and with the fantastic work that the Queen's Hall Arts Centre, which we support, also does, then I think that would be well received by residents up and down the Tyne Valley. However, we do have to also consider our sort of core duties to our residents, and one of those core duties is providing the sort of frontline neighbourhood and local services, and that's collecting people's bins, mowing the grass and keeping curbsides clean and that sort of thing. And so we do need proper workshop facilities, and we need proper storage space, and every resident in the west of the county uses those facilities. So it's really important that we go ahead with this project. As you've already outlined, the cost of a split site operation, with all of the uncertainty around planning, could be as much as £1.5 million extra in capital expenditure, plus an ongoing annual cost of £250,000, plus all of the difficulties that would be caused by having management trying to manage staff across two sites, and to consolidate it all onto one sort of better site with modern workshop facilities that keeps our sort of vehicles, our bin wagons, and etc. on the road. Is really, really important. So I think I've seen firsthand, I've been involved in a lot of the meetings, the officers have done a fantastically sort of detailed piece of work looking at all of the options, both the options within the council's control and outside the other private sites, and there are other options. So and I think the one that we would like to get into discussion with the Gormley Foundation is potentially a much better site, closer to the town centre, and that would be good for the town centre. It would be good for the rest of the businesses in the town centre, and if we can create something significant that would draw lots of people to Hexham, it would be very good for the local economy. So I think we're making absolutely the right decision today, and wholeheartedly support it.
Thank you, Nick. That's helpful. Yes, Councillor Mather.
Yeah, thanks, Leader. I fully support this paper. This will allow our highly trained fleet maintenance team to continue to keep our fleet up to a high standard in a fit-for-purpose facility. Like Councillor Oliver says, that keeps the frontline teams out there doing what the public appreciates of all the great work that the teams do, and also continues to see investment in the wider county, and especially in the west. I also have seen how much work that both yourself and the team here at County Hall has put into this project, and to ensure that we continue to invest in our own infrastructure, but also to work with people like Sir Anthony Gormley. But I do think that this is the right outcome for the council, and I wholeheartedly support it.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mather. Yes, Guy Renner-Thompson.
Thank you, Leader. I agree with everything that's been said. I think bringing more arts and culture facilities into the county can only be a good thing. But in survey after survey and in our own election manifesto a few months ago at the election, our roads and highways are a huge priority for the people of Northumberland. So in this, I think we're getting the best of both worlds. We'll see investment from the council into our fleet and our roads and highways team that are able to continue going out and fixing our roads in Hexham and that rural West Northumberland, which is a massive area they need to cover. But thanks to you and the hard work that you've done with Sir Anthony Gormley, we're potentially still going to see the investment in arts and culture in Hexham. So we're looking at the best of both worlds here.
Thank you very much, Guy. Okay, so if there's no other comments, I have proposed the recommendations and they have been seconded. Are you all in favour? Please show. And that is unanimous. Okay, thank you very much for joining us today, and that concludes our meeting.